Hello friends! Are you ready to find out what happens to Dani, the girl from the children's home in Mexico? You may remember that last time I told you that Daniela was released from the hospital in time for Christmas, but she still could not walk. After some time visiting with her mother, Dani returned to the children's home, where Anita was ready to help her with medicine and physical therapy. Flor hugged her daughter goodbye and walked out of the same gate she had gone through more than a decade ago, when she had left Daniela and her sisters at the home. But this time was very different. This time, Dani's mom had hope. For the next several months, Dani continued to endure intense physical therapy. It was a real struggle, even with her friends and sisters all helping her. She felt lonely and bored some of the time, and it was hard to keep her spirits up. The church on the campus where Dani lived was on a big hill, and for most of her childhood, she had climbed the many stairs up to it every Wednesday and Sunday. When Daniela finally felt well enough to go, Anita gathered help from friends and other care workers, and the crowd laughed and joked as they pushed and pulled the wheelchair up the hill. It was a true picture of all the love Daniela had been surrounded with during this difficult time. Daniela got stronger every day. There was no big magical moment when she jumped out of her wheelchair. But little by little, she gained back the control of her muscles. First in her face, then her arms and upper body, and by the time summer came, Dani was able to stand and even walk short distances. And as Dani's body was healing little by little, her relationship with her mom was growing too. Dani didn't even know it, but Flora was working hard every day, trying to save money and create a life where she could offer something to her daughters. One day her mom came to visit and declared proudly, "I found a new house where you can have your own room. I want you to come home." Dani couldn't believe it. For years her mom had kept her distance, not touching her, not even showing up to visit. But now this strong woman stood in front of her, reaching out to Dani, promising to be with her. At first, Daniela didn't know what to think. She wasn't sure if she could trust her mother to be there for her. But she was certain about one thing: God was with her, and she could trust His plan. One day, Dani was walking with Anita's help when she announced, "This is the week. I want to walk to church. I asked God to make me well. I told God I wanted to go home and live with my mother. I told Him I would trust Him, and I want to dance in His church, just like I promised." That Sunday, Anita and Dani left extra time to climb the stairs together. It was a hot July morning, and sweat poured down Dani's face with the effort it took to get up those stairs and inside the church. But she smiled the biggest smile as she moved to the music, all the way down to the front row. God gave Dani an amazing story to tell about His faithfulness. But God has a story for each one of us. Isn't that right, Ellie?
Yes!
God wants you to tell His story to everyone you know. Where is He sending you? Maybe it's down the street, or to someone in your school, or maybe one day to another country. But wherever He's sending you, you can be sure of one thing. Ellie, do you know what that one thing is?
God is with me wherever I go.
You can hear more about Daniela and other stories in Tales of the Never Alone. And if you'd like to hear about Ellie's story, you can find it in Tales of the Ones He Won't Let Go. Hi, it's Beth again, but this time I brought with me two friends I can't wait for you to get a chance to meet. I have here with me Drew and Grace, who both have had the opportunity to spend some time in another country serving the Lord, and I wanted them to have a chance to tell you a little bit about what their experience was like. First, let's hear a little bit about them. Drew, can you tell everybody how old you are?
I'm 7.
You're 7, and what grade does that make you in?
I'm going into first.
You're going into first grade. And what about you, Grace? How old are you?
I'm 10.
You're 10, so that puts you at 5th grade? You're gonna be a 5th grader. So why don't you tell everybody where it is that you got a chance to serve this summer?
I went to Haiti.
Okay, you went to Haiti. That's pretty far away. What about you, Drew? Where did you get to serve?
Mexico.
You went to Mexico? I was there in Mexico when you were there, wasn't I?
Yeah.
It was pretty hot those days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think so too. Well, tell me, when you got to Mexico, what was like your first impression? What were some of the first things that you saw out the window?
I saw the houses. They were poor, kind of.
They look different maybe than the houses in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
What about you? When you got to Haiti, what was some of your first impressions?
Well, when we were driving to where we were going to stay, there were walls around every building, and it was raining, which I was told it doesn't rain much in Haiti. And there's a lot of garbage on the streets and animals picking through it, but trying to find some food. But
why don't you tell me a little bit about somebody that you met when you got there?
I met a boy named Nacho.
You met a boy named Nacho. Is he like older than you or younger than you?
He was older.
He was older. And did you play with Nacho, or how did you meet him?
We met him at the children's home that we served.
Yeah, he was one of the orphans living in one of those children's homes, right? Did he speak English?
No.
And did you speak Spanish?
No.
Well, then how did you play with them? Like, what kinds of things did you guys do?
We played soccer and we went on the swings.
Yeah. Sometimes it seems at first like maybe makes you kind of nervous. Like, I don't really know how I'm going to play with someone that I can't talk to, but pretty quickly you kind of figure out a way to do it, don't you?
Yeah.
Who was someone that you met, Grace, when you were in Haiti?
well, I met a little boy named Mikael. He was 6 or 7, but we played with chalk on the walls because they were made out of concrete, and someone brought the chalk over.
Well, what would you say to kids who are listening to you like, wow, Drew and Grace, they must be really brave, because I can't even imagine going to another country, or I'm a little bit nervous or afraid to serve other people. Like, what kinds of things would you say to them, Drew?
I would say, don't be afraid because God is always with you.
He is always with us, isn't he? He always helps us when we don't know what to do or say, and he helps us to feel safe. There's no doubt that God is absolutely with us wherever we go. What would you say?
I would say that it's fun. You meet a lot of new people, and if you've been there, well, if you go there, you're gonna want to go again, because you're gonna miss the friends that you have. That's for sure, that you made there.
I don't know where it is that God might ask you to go. It might be to cross the street, to cross the sports field, or maybe one day he'll ask you to cross a border like he asked Drew and Grace. But I can tell you for sure that no matter where it is that he asks you to go and who it is he asks you to reach out to, Drew's absolutely right. He is with us wherever we go, and he will never leave you alone.